Welcome to The Valley's Voice, Arizona Live's Legal Truths.
Hello and welcome to The Valley's Voice, Arizona Lives and Legal Truths. I'm your host, Travis Meltzer, founder and managing attorney at Valley Injury Law. Today, we continue our Arizona Live series where we will be spotlighting the real stories, challenges, and triumphs of people across the Grand Canyon State. I'm honored to sit down with Chef Beatrice Heirigs, originally from Flagstaff, Arizona. She was recently a finalist on the hit show Next Level Chef, where she was mentored by the one and only Gordon Ramsay. Now killing it over there in the Big Apple. Beatrice, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi. Like I said, my name is Beatrice. I have been cooking for a long time, and I'm born and raised in Flagstaff, Arizona, so deep connections to the Southwest. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
No, absolutely. No, and I know with moving up northeast to New York there. But before we kind of get to your current, tell me a little bit about yourself growing up here in Arizona. I know you grew up kind of by Flagstaff, Sedona. What's a highlight from that time here?
Right. So I was born and raised in Flagstaff, Arizona, and I lived kind of between Flagstaff and Sedona. So I was kind of going from both very young. I was raised by a single mother who owns a beeswax company in Flagstaff, and she tours around Arizona. She sells at many different farmers markets, from Phoenix to Sedona to California sometimes. So I've been all around the state, very local, very home farmer energy growing up.
Yeah. So before I ask a little bit more about that, the beeswax company, you want to give it a little shout out, give a little name shout out here for your mom?
Yeah. So my mom is Tracy Heirigs. She owns a business called The Golden Hive. You can look them up on the website at goldenbeeswax.com. She sells a combination of honey, skincare, wax, and cute little bee figurines and whatnot. Very cutesy, good gifts kind of stuff.
Perfect. Yeah, it's honestly it personifies that part of the country. I feel like it's really that very homey. Beeswax is great, and so your time at those farmers markets, I'm sure that you helped a little bit growing up. How did that experience shape the way that you connect with diners or any of your line cooks with you?
Well, I'm definitely more social because of it. Because growing up, working farmers markets, you have to talk to literally every single person. And, you have to kind of pitch them. You have to be like, hey, you want some honey? You want some wax? It's really good, I promise. So, helping that definitely, or doing that definitely made me good at selling. It gave me people skills, marketing skills. And I also developed a deep appreciation from the foods and the different crafts and stuff at farmers market. So I'm definitely a, artistic, crafty individual because of that.
No, that's great. Yeah. Do you have a favorite farmers market food that you remember?
Ooh, I love tamales personally because they're just so homemade, and a good tamale on a farmer's market, like a cold morning, it hits so good. So good.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, nope, agreed. Right around, was it like November-ish here in Phoenix is where all those little tamale pop-up shops tend to kick up here around Christmas time.
I love it. About 20 every time I go.
Then you just freeze them. They're the best.
Exactly. They're so good.
No, perfect. And now, what was, now I've done a little research. I think that's the only thing that's technically legal about this podcast is my ability to look people up. But I promise it's good stuff. So it looks like, you started at Alpine Pizza before kind of getting into that cooking crowd, so to speak. Now, what lessons from the dish pit, we'll call it, still guide you today?
Well, when I was 13, my mom bought the restaurant Alpine Pizza for $10, which was more of a trade, and it was a bit much. We kind of got thrown into the whole thing by a sketchy guy. But I remember, my first job was definitely selling beeswax at farmers market. But my first, what felt like a real job was, being a dishwasher at a restaurant. And the lessons I learned there were that I didn't want to be a dishwasher and I'd rather be a cook. That's what really that taught me, because, dishwashing is great until you break a plate because you're just pissed off. You know what I mean? It's just a demanding job. But cooking always called to me a lot more than working in a dish pit. I think doing dishes is part of cooking as well, but I always looked up to the chefs that were cooking the pizzas and whatnot, even if they weren't, the most amazing chefs in the world. I really liked watching them make the pizzas, and I wish that I could do that as well. And eventually I did. I did serving there, dishwashing there, cooking there, did pretty much every position. So,
Oh, perfect. I'm sure that helped you kind of gain an appreciation of the journey, so to speak. Once,
definitely. And
you
also,
got to that.
yeah, also helped me gain appreciation for front of house because I there's a reason why I'm back at house. It's a lot
Yeah.
to
Oh,
cater to people.
I could only imagine. Yeah, I mean, and that's the one I guess kind of comparable is, we're always dealing with clients on my end. I always have to deal with people. It's constant dealing with the customer who always changes, particularly for you guys too. And now, so you went from, I mean, I hate to say you went from Alpine Pizza to culinary school, but that's not necessarily the jump you made. But no, moving from, Red Rock Country to culinary school in New York, what surprised you most about East Coast kitchens, and which Arizona habit do you refuse to drop?
So definitely in the East Coast, you get paid a lot less, especially in kitchens. Minimum wage is pretty bad, even in the city, So
Yeah.
that surprised me, just like the quality of the first job I worked here in New York City was Jean-Georges, which is a 2 Michelin-star restaurant, So it was like, kind of had a bad first experience out here. But something I take from Arizona is like just having pride as a chef. And a lot of people here that I worked with that were culinary students before having restaurant experience, they definitely are very scared all the time, and they don't have a lot of pride, and they don't really try to take good care of themselves and their work and whatnot. But as someone who's already worked in a few handful of professional kitchens, I try carrying myself in a way that reflects that, and that brings a part of my identity into any restaurant regardless of location.
No, that's awesome. No, you created your own, the Beatrice identity. And I think, I think that's really impressive, particularly at any level. I think any profession. No, but no, I think it's very impressive, especially, not going to talk about your age because you're a lady, but particularly at your age, it's great. Yeah, exactly. It's just great to have that mindset from a professional standpoint. I mean, I would
Yeah,
have killed to have that at,
yeah,
we'll
I'm
just
only
say
20.
hypothetically 19 or 20.
Yeah, well, I'm
So
20 years old, and I feel like the reason why I'm, at this place where I can actually speak about my career is because I've started so young, and I didn't even realize that I was starting a career at that age, but it just evolved into this. So here I am doing
yeah,
it.
no, it's amazing though. And you kind of touched on it a little bit, with your Jean-Georges externship. And you kind of said it was a tough experience. It was a good experience. You want to give me some highlights about that?
Yeah, for sure. So I actually got the opportunity to work at Jean-Georges because of a member on Next Level Chef, Bobby. He lived in New York for many years, and he was a bartender, and he actually made several, Michelin star chef friends by working as a bartender here. And, me being me, I'm all about networking. So I'm like besties with Bobby now.
Yeah.
And Bobby, I asked him, I was like, hey, I'm really looking for a job here. I'm really trying to not live in a dorm for very much longer.
Sure.
So he recommended me to a chef who recommended me to another chef who recommended me to another chef. So basically, I got that by just a bunch of random chefs who just happened to help me along. And,
So,
working at a place like Jean-Georges, it definitely opened my eyes to a lot of what cooking is at that level. Um, I really enjoyed my externship, and honestly, I didn't know if I was going to come back afterwards, but they offered me a full-time line cook position in the fall after my externship, which was great. I started on a amuse-bouche, which is like the first course of the menu, and it was really great. It was a great experience. I actually met my roommate over there at Jean-Georges. She's a pastry chef there, so it
oh,
was
there you go.
it was great. It helped me move out of my dorm into Manhattan, helped me get into the restaurant scene a lot more. It really broadened my view of, what cooking can be, what it's like being in a high intense restaurant like that. I'm a very like bubbly, energetic person. So working with a bunch of people who don't talk to you and just look at you like, it's like, it was kind of a bit much at first, but I
Mm.
actually really like putting my head down and like focusing on my work and really getting shit done. So I enjoyed
Yeah.
it for the most part. It just got a little rough when you're making like $13 an hour and you're trying to make a 1,400 plus rent every month. And then on top of that, you don't get holidays off. So, at that point, I had to take a step back and look and reassess my values and be like, all right, I'm a full-time student. I need a full-time job. This isn't going to help me flow my bills. So that led me to my current job, Cactus Wren, which is the best job I've ever had, hands down. I'm making salary. I work like 60 hours a week, which is, a bit much, but I'm making salary. So it's all good.
You
It
can
ended
afford your
up
part rent.
right. And I love my boss now. And the owner, Sam, he's from Arizona, as well as
Yep.
the owner, Ray. They're from Tucson and Phoenix. So having that, community that from back home in New York, it's so great.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's funny. Well, you must have gotten my my questions for the show. But no, talking about Cactus Wren, what lessons, have you taken kind of from your externship? And then I'll ask a little bit more about the next level chef here in a minute. But from your experience on the show to Cactus Wren, how have you kind of brought everything from there?
I mean, there's a lot of little things that I learned on the show, and like I think being on the show, a lot of it was just performing what you already knew. But there are a lot of things that I picked up from Gordon Ramsay about being in Michelin-starred kitchens. It was like little details, you know what I mean? Like when you're stirring a pot, put it down while you stir it. You know what I mean? Like he taught me that. And he was like, don't lift up the pot while you're stirring it, like, because you could drop it. And it's like, those are little like Michelin-star cooking details that really matter when you're working in a professional kitchen that's, doing 100 plus covers a night and you're on a saute station and you're picking up orders like left and right. So, little like habits like that definitely helped me for being on the show. Beyond that though, like when I'm at Cactus Wren, it's really different being in the industry and, being on a show. Cause like a regular person like yourself might be like, oh wow, everyone must be like, oh wow, she's such a good chef. That's amazing. Everyone must praise her. It's not true. It's not true. I go to the kitchen. I'm like, yeah, I was on a cooking show. They're like, who the fuck cares? Like, that's overrated. I'm like, great. Because whatever. And like, I really do value my time on that show. But most of what made me the chef I am today was not necessarily going on that, 1 month long show. It was working in kitchens for several years.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think being on a show like that, I think you nailed it on the head. It kind of, it would highlight your best and candidly, I mean, it's reality TV, sometimes worst moments. So it's one of those things where you just, yeah, I mean, it is. It's performance. It's performance art. You're doing art all the time. This happens to be the performance side of it and the reality TV side of things. So kind of, what was, let me stop that. I'm going to restart. That's going to get edited out. So you made it to the finals of Next Level Chef. So which single challenge or moment there, if there was one, that you proved to yourself that you deserved to be there?
Definitely the Wellington episode, because that one was crazy. I
Yeah.
remember like I think it was the day before I used the time token against Austin and everyone was pissed and I was like, well, I didn't need the extra time, so what else was I going to do? Which I still stand by because like
Yeah.
come on.
Made the right move
Like
between
a
you and me.
30-something-year-old chef with tons of experience who's worked in multiple Michelin-star kitchens, who's like a private chef for like some Kellogg family. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
going to use everything I can to beat this guy.
Yeah.
So
I'm surprised you
you
didn't trip him. That's kind of the way.
like, I'm not trying to purposely sabotage him. I'm just trying to use the tools that the game provided to get
Yeah.
ahead any way I could.
Yep.
Especially the platform. That was something that was like, all right, like if you can make a good platform grab, that makes the whole cook, to be honest.
Oh yeah. Well,
But yeah, that Wellington challenge definitely took it because someone took Brandon. He took 10 seconds from my time. because he was salty that I used it against Austin, which is like, why? He's a grown man. But basically, that was like the moment where I was like, I remember being in my head right before we like went on TV and like we were on camera and stuff. And I was just like in my head and I was like, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Let's not worry about this. Let's just grab. And like that was my whole thing the whole time I was on the show, was just like trying to like reinforce those positive thoughts in my head. And a lot of times people took that as me being like cocky or a little too much, but it's like that's what I needed to do what I had to do. And, my platform grab went really great despite having 20 seconds. And I cooked a really good Wellington. It was perfectly golden brown. I had like I know they said it was a bit salty, which I agree. I didn't really need the fried capers or anything on that. But like the precision and the way it turned out so good. And it was my first Wellington ever. I was like,
Oh, really?
was so
Ooh, I didn't know
happy with it. And it was with fish Wellington too. And fish is like so easy to over or undercook. So I was like, really happy with how that one turned out. Really, really happy.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I watched it. You did a great job. I had no idea. I don't know. You might have mentioned that it was your first on there. It may have been. I don't know.
A lot of stuff, you guys didn't really see it, but there's like so much that's not on camera,
Oh, I'm sure. I can only imagine.
Like it's a bit. It's a lot.
Oh, yeah. Now, you kind of talked about it a little bit in the beginning, or maybe not the beginning, in the middle here. Now, what's the most eye-opening piece of feedback, kind or brutal, that Gordon Ramsay gave you while on the show?
It's funny to think about because there's quite a few. Gordon Ramsay was also a very positive and energetic person, and he never tried to like snuff me out in any way, shape, or form. And like the other mentors were great as well, but they weren't really hyping me up. You know what I mean? And when I'm cooking like that, I really need a hype man, and I really need someone to just like tell me when I'm doing stuff wrong, and really just like shout at me, because that's how I'm like, I've been in the kitchen before. That's how I've learned how to cook, is like doing and being yelled at. So that was really nice, and I really liked how he was just telling me what's what, and he was just very like no filter. Well, maybe a little filter because it's TV, but like it was nice working alongside him and just like, being able to pick his brain about the dish I'm making all the time. That's why I was so happy to be mentored by him, because he's the only one of the mentors that'll get next to you, pick up your pan and start stirring it with you. The other mentors are just like, are you stirring the pan wrong? Do you think you're stirring? But I'm like, I don't care if I am. Just tell me if I'm not. Like, so he was great. He was great.
No, that's awesome. No, like, that's great to hear. I mean, it's one of those things that people like myself who only watch the show only see like the Gordon Ramsay, the character, so to speak, maybe not so much the person. So it's always cool to kind of hear that behind the scenes here. So I got one more question for you. So what's your future look like, Beatrice? Where are you heading after? I mean, I wouldn't say after Cactus Wren, but what's your plan for your career here?
Well, I mean, if you were to ask me a year ago, I were to give you this whole whole spiel where I'm like, I want to be the youngest Michelin-starred chef by the time I'm 22. You know what I mean? I want to open my own restaurant. I want to be a head chef. Like, I would have said that a year ago, but now I have a little different story. I kind of want to put cooking on the back burner for a little while in professional kitchens, and I'm actually planning to go to Europe for 6 months, travel, backpack alone, and then after that journey, I plan on buying a van with all the money I've saved from working full time, buying a van, and then basically doing like mercenary work from town to town. And I feel like that's like the best thing for me personally, is having that freedom of having like a vehicle / home that I own. I know it's so classic Arizona of me to want to buy and just go around, but like that's really who I am. That's really what I want. And I really thought for a long time that what I wanted was to become the best chef. And I feel like, well, yes, that's still true. I also want to not burn out and quit too young, and I don't want to push myself too young. So I'm really just trying to take the easy life, explore like a different route, and maybe I'll find something better, more beneficial in a way. Like, still love to work in Michelin-star kitchens, and I can actually do that probably a little easier and cheaper if I have my own vehicle and I can drive from San Francisco, where they have like all these amazing Michelin-star restaurants, to LA, to, Mexico City or Austin. Like there's so many fun places in that area that I want to explore more so. And as much as I love the East Coast, I love having a car. I like public transportation is pretty mid. It's great, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's definitely my dream to explore a bit more.
Oh, that's amazing. And as well you should. Honestly, as well you should. And so appreciate you coming on, Beatrice. So that seems to be all the time we have today. Thank you, Chef Beatrice Heirigs. I'm going to say that again, just because I don't want to stutter on your name. I want to make sure it says right. So that seems to be all the time we have today. Thank you to Chef Beatrice Heirigs, from Flagstaff roots to next level chef to a van. So thank you again. We'll see. Can't wait to see what your career brings. Now, you can remember you can find us, Valley Injury Law, at azvalleyinjurylaw.com, or on Instagram at Valley Injury Law. And then you can find our incredible guest, Beatrice, on Instagram. It's at Beatrice the Tenacious, with underscore between the on both words. So be sure to follow her, and be sure to like, subscribe, leave a review if you enjoyed today's episode. We appreciate you all joining us on The Valley's Voice.
See ya.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.